you know, and then it becomes the what. But when I'm in those spaces and there's challenges, I always go, okay, uh, why? And in jujitsu, they always say the first thing you need to do is assess the threat. And this is using an analogy, but
Mm-hmm.
okay, there's a huge guy on top of me, and my arm is flailing. That could get snapped. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about my breathing, but the reality is he's about to choke me or she's about to choke me. So the first thing you have to do is just go, oh, protect your neck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I step back and just go, and you have always been a big proponent of that. Like, doesn't matter if you don't have your health, if you're not breathing, if you're not, you know, it's gonna figure itself out.
Yes.
You can't help with that process unless you're present.
Right.
So I start with the presence, and then I go, well, why? Why do I want this? Do I really need this? Is it something that is worth my time? And a lot of times it feels like it is. I'm going to give you this little short story, and I'll try. So there was a point where I was driven as a man in Hollywood to have the stuff, the car, the money, the clothes, the partners, um, both business and, you know, sexual, whatever. And I found myself at a friend's place, giant ranch style mansion in Palm Springs, Rancho Mirage, holding a bottle of champagne in one hand and a joint in the other in my boxers, and looking out a golf course through a glass window and seeing a reflection in the back of like three women topless on their way to the pool, and it's just me and them, and we're just hanging out. And I looked out the window and I thought about what's going on, and it's like 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. And
Now he's just bragging.
yeah, well, no, it seems like it. But the point being, that was a moment too where I just went, is this what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Is this like, how many women am I going
Reflection. You're like,
to
just, yeah.
to encounter in this way? How many bottles of champagne? How many dollars do I need to spend on a car before I'm satisfied? How many joints do I need to smoke? And that's a lesson that a lot of young men have to learn, and still
So
old
how
men.
did you learn it? When you, because what I'm hearing is that your life, you know, is a lot of activity,
Mhm.
a lot of responsibility for
Mhm.
yourself and for others, and a schedule you're just inundated with so many obligations. What is it?
Self-imposed.
What is it
Self-imposed.
that you're doing right now
Mhm.
to keep yourself from not going crazy and to stay balanced and to, you know,
Just keep moving at a pace that is comfortable both
yeah,
for
what
my
are you
mind
doing
and my
right
body.
now?
I make lists. You know this about me.
Okay.
So I take pen to paper. Some people can operate from their phone. I can't. I have to ink it into paper, and I have to look at a normal calendar. I print
That's
it out.
awesome because that's the oldest trick in the book that still works, and that's how you manifest, and that's how things happen. Is writing them down. So that's no accident. So that's, you know, that's awesome, and we want to keep doing that. You know.
So I have a feeling for the things that I want to achieve and where I want to go, and I always trust that when I land, I'll be able to navigate. You
Mhm.
know, and that's in the business world more than anything. It's like if I drop in, metaphorically speaking, into a jungle of chaos, I know I have my water and my, you know, knife and my mind, and I'm
Mhm.
going to get out of this jungle. We have
Right.
one job. So I write it down. I go to sleep at night and I just go, okay, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. And then I have my appointments, which I try to honor faithfully. You know, okay, I'm going to meet for a workout at this time. I have lunch with this person on this day.
Mhm.
And then somewhere something starts to get taken advantage of. Maybe I'm not calling my mom enough. Maybe I'm not present enough. But
Right.
but all that, after years of finding balance, here I am in my 50s, for God's sake, going, I think I have it this week, you know,
Right,
and next
right.
week could be different.
That's
But you
right.
got to give yourself that room
Mhm.
and stick to the plan. I'm going to write.
Yes, sticking to it, and you're very methodical in that way. That, you know, that's how execution happens.
That's the key method.
Yes. So, what advice would you give to someone else that's just have so many obligations and
Hmm.
like a very, very demanding schedule, what advice would you give to someone else that's just going crazy in their own chaos in their own life?
Well, surround yourself with people who can reflect. It's not enough to just look in the mirror. It's not enough to be alone with your thoughts. If you can find someone, and a lot of people are lonely these days. I've been very fortunate to have people like you in my life, and I count you as one of the most important people I've ever met.
Thank you.
I
Thank
know.
you.
I mean, it touches me
Likewise.
deeply. But and it makes me sad to think that a lot of people don't have that. There are people in this world who do coaching, and there are people who are in therapy, who work professionally. There's also somebody down the street who, you might help carry their groceries into
That's
the
right.
house, and next thing you know, they're saying, hey, have you been drinking enough water? And you say, what? Where did that come from? So it's like, I'm just an average person. Allowing yourself to have reflection is really
That's
important.
big.
And
That's huge.
so I would say try to find some of that and listen and be easier on yourself. It's hard for people, I guess like myself, to not be so hard that they constantly almost create problems for themselves because it's either not good enough um, or they procrastinate over analyzing the analysis paralysis concept. So I would say start with a deep self-reflection and listen to people around you, and then don't take the criticism to heart. Take it as motivation, and just remember, some will, some won't, some can, and some don't. So whatever it is that you do, even if it's like, what, this is what I do. Why am I pretending to be this if this is really who I am? And that takes a while. I thought I was going to go into politics, and I did. I got elected to that council, and I served for a while, and I thought, there was a moment where I thought maybe I could go to the next level, and then I realized this is eating my soul, and I need to step back a bit. So sometimes your appetite can fool you.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
And that's what I would say. I would say assess every part of your body. Get to the point where you're in that meditative state, if that's what it is, or for me, it's prayer, where
Which is
you're
the
just
same thing.
you're feeling you're feeling your body, and you're saying, okay, my breathing is short when I think about this individual, or I get
Right.
tense when I think about that
And
job.
anxiety.
That all that needs to be assessed, because thoughts are, if I fed you something that tasted horrible, you'd spit it out. You'd go, oh, that's poison, or that's bitter, that doesn't, and if you felt something, someone touched you with something hot, you'd be like, hot.
Right.
But thoughts, for some reason, and people's criticism, we allow to come in, and that's just as bad as poison or a
Absolutely,
hot poker.
it is. It is.
So we need to be aware of our body and how we react, and from that point, it can take a moment to just go, I need to move away from this, and it's okay to give yourself that space.
It is. It is. Yes, it is. Because there's going to always be so many things to do and so many places to be. And, and at the end of the day, all you have is you. It's just you. Your mind, your thoughts, your spirit. And the next person is not, is not going to be there to free you from your thoughts. You have to do that. And you start from inside of your spirit.
It's
Yeah.
interesting too. I think about this. People strive for something that maybe they don't. It's just kind of a cloud, a dream. Trying to find more of a concrete path to what that means. Like, what does it mean to be a working actress or actor in Hollywood? Are you just doing this because you want